Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the broadcast. My name is One Charming Man, otherwise known as Miguel D. Meza. Today we'll be talking about Overwatch. Excuse me. Overwatch is going to be going into its fourth stage for the Overwatch League this May 16th, which is now. And it will be broadcasting three games. As far as I know, it's going to be the Shanghai Dragons against the Neos Dallas. Hold on. Allow me to refer to my notes right quick. Um, yeah, it will be Shanghai Dragons versus the Dallas Fuel, and the Dynasty going up against the Los Angeles Valiant, and of course Seoul Dynasty. The Los Angeles Gladiators will be going against the San Francisco Shock, and these are pretty good matches, I guess, for the most part. Everyone likes to say that when it comes to Dallas versus Shanghai, Dallas always has or Shanghai has a chance to win, but they don't. It's quite simple, and I hate to say this, but when it comes to the Dallas Fuel, as mismanaged as they are, they're still not as terrible as a cohesive unit as Shanghai Dragon. When it comes down to it, the level of play is just subpar. They're definitely the B team of the league, and unfortunately, they will be losing that match, probably in a sweep. They could probably get a map or two over Dallas Fuel. I do have to check. For the most part, I have to check the map pool that will be used for stage 4. I'm very curious. We will get into the news of the new updated the update they're going to be using for the patch they're going to be using for the game. So basically, Nate Nanzer of the Overwatch League, the commissioner of the Overwatch League, he stated in a tweet that the entire league was going to be playing on the 4.22. I think that's what it will. 1.22. I need to check the actual number, but essentially, it's it's not the Hanzo patch. It's the patch prior to the Hanzo patch. It is the one with the basically Briette still broken. So a lot of people are very scared as to how this is going to impact the play of Overwatch League. See, in my opinion, I believe that this might be a huge issue for like when it comes to like how these games are going to come off. Now I'm talking about the spacing, the time, and the speed and the flow of the game. I feel like Briette may slow that things down, but I'll get more into that in a bit once I get over the match cards. Next, we have like I was saying, the Seoul Dynasty versus Los Angeles Valiant. Seoul Dynasty was catching their footing in the beginning of Stage 1. In Stage 2, they had a bit of a fall off, and in Stage 3, they remained one of the most mediocre teams on the entire roster, despite having quite the talented DPS lineup with Fleta and all them fools. The thing about Seoul is that they're just so disappointing in terms of how they're functioning together as a unit. They're supposed to be one of the big 3 Korean teams, which is New York Excelsior, London Spitfire, and Seoul Dynasty, but unfortunately they have not really gotten the success of their other 2 Korean counterparts. Of course, I'm one of those people that believes, and I am a London Spitfire fan, and I'm one of those people that believes that London should be just as good as New York, but unfortunately the departure of Fissure was a huge loss to their roster. But that's neither here or there when it comes to this matchup right here. I definitely have Seoul Dynasty, even though the records are just about the same. I don't think that Valiant can win when it comes to the team fights in terms of damage output. I am really thinking that Munchkin and players like him are going to be able to get their damage output in. Los Angeles, I just feel like they have a huge struggle against the high-powered offense teams, and Seoul Dynasty is definitely one of those teams that can pull off a lot of high damage maneuvers. We'll probably see a lot of Briette in first day 1, but we don't know because we have not seen the likes of this type of matchup before when it comes to just how this patch is going to do, because this patch is so unique, and I'll get into that right now. So the Los Angeles Gladiators are slated to go up against the San Francisco Shock, and I definitely have the Los Angeles Gladiators in this situation. Again, case of very similar records, but I think when it comes down to it, Los Angeles has a little bit more impressive of I think their teamwork is a little better, even though some of the individual players on the San Francisco Shock are really good, like Dante and Super. And I'm not saying that they're not a good team, but I'm just saying that they've had moments where they're really good together, and then they've had moments where they're really bad together. So I'm wondering if maybe they're still meshing together, and we don't know because this is just the first year of the Overwatch League. A lot of these teams will go on to probably have a lot of success in the coming years, and we still don't know exactly how long this thing is going to last for, this league. But if you ask me, it's going to be around for at least a decade. So we're going to see exactly what San Francisco Shock can do in the future. I definitely think people like Dante and Baby Bay, they're all like superstars, and they're definitely going to go on to be like a very important team to the league, and that's undeniable. I did not know that Pharaoh was on the team. So basically, I think that for the most part it's going to be interesting to see how Brigitte affects the meta, but I'm afraid that she might make it, kind of difficult to watch. And now I'll get into that. Moving forward, we're going to be talking about the impact of the new patch. Well, new-ish, new to the Overwatch League players. Prior to this, we had not seen Brigitte in the fray, and now we're going to get prime Brigitte. I mean, Brigitte is just like extremely broken, in my opinion. I'm one of those people in that camp that believes, oh, she's definitely one of the most broken characters in the entire game, in my opinion. I'll get into why in a bit, but the impact of Brigitte is just something that I think that is going to be the main sort of thing to watch in the first day of the Overwatch League, Stage 4. I'm very excited to see where her place is, because then basically we'll know just how good Brigitte is in just a bit, and that's what I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to get that satisfaction of knowing whether or not she is really broken, or if I'm just one of those people that's just she's difficult to work around. But I must say I am a McCree main, and she's pretty much my counter, so it could be sour grapes here. Now, why do I think Brigitte is broken? Okay, well, I think that Brigitte is broken for a number of reasons. I think one of the main ones, is pretty obvious, is that she's a dual role character in a game that doesn't have that many dual role characters, if any, for the most part. Maybe Soldier 76, the semi-off healer, I guess, if you're playing in 4v4. It's just one of those things where I have a feeling that she's just overpowered. So the dual role of her, she's support and she's a tank, right? Now, a lot of people say, like, oh, she's not a real tank. Well, I think she's hell of a tank because DPSs have problems killing her, okay? Zenyatta has problems killing her. And, Zenyatta doesn't have problems killing a Mercy, a Symmetra, another Zenyatta, an Ana. He has an open fight with all of them. But with Brigitte, it's a little bit different, isn't it? So where does that put Brigitte? Well, it puts her in ability to basically win a singular team fight against any and every single goddamn other support on the entire roster of the game. That is not good. Okay, so that's the first big thing for Brigitte. Now, a lot of people are going to get at me and say, oh, a good Ana, a good Zenyatta, hold the left trigger, whatever. Don't get at me, bro. It's like a huge disadvantage, okay? We're talking about a skill-based game, right? We're talking about a skill-based game, and the fact that, this character, I'm sorry for the lack of better terms, does not require much skill. Because if you really think about it, Brigitte can now just defeat a Reinhardt. And it's like, what the hell is the point of even having a Reinhardt? What, we're going to give a heal to Reinhardt or something? Ridiculous, okay? So, I'm not, that's something that it definitely upsets me when it comes to that. Second off is that she's a healer, and she's a tank. Man, like, what? And, of course, she doesn't have a lot of healing. Granted, I will, concede to that. But at the same time, it's just that she still heals, and her passive is basically the thing that makes her broken, in my opinion. Because people buy her, or when she does damage, they take a little bit of a health over time, and a lot of people don't realize it. And I just think that her impact goes so far in terms of team fights because of the fact that she can help and fight, and oh my god. So her healing is pretty good, but mainly it's like the main point is her overall utility. Okay, and I'm literally talking, and Brigitte gets the play of the game. This is what I'm talking about. Brigitte, her utility is just too wide. I mean, look at her abilities. Look at her abilities right now. Right there, I'm talking about like a real overpowered set of abilities that place her on a pedestal far above everyone else. Okay, so she's got her flail, she's got a dash that stuns, which is just ridiculous. She's got her ult makes her, like, ridiculous. Look, Brienne has too many abilities. I think the main thing is that her shield bash, which can stun and basically cancel any ult in just about 2 seconds, and she gets it back in like 2 seconds, is ridiculous. She's broken. That's the big thing. Everyone agrees, and everyone who doesn't agree is a Brienne player, that she needs to get nerfed immediately. Now, we are going to find out just how bad it is when the Overwatch League happens. Now, I might be one of those people that are just panicking, and she might not even be that bad. So I may be panicking right now, and I might not even know exactly what her impact is going to be. But I'm still worried because of how she impacts the game right now, like the way things are right now. So if it's anything like how it is right now, I'm very afraid of how she's going to do it. Moving forward, the next part is going to be the New York Excelsior. They obviously don't have a game today, but they won the stage championships, and they should be mentioned. A lot of people believe that they're broken, and they're one of the most powerful teams in the entire league, and they haven't had a real chance to get stopped. I mean, London did it, but now they don't have Fissure, so it's a huge loss right there. I think that was one of the biggest dumb moves of the entire league, and that's gonna tie into my next topic. I don't know. I just wanted to mention the New York Excelsior and say, hey, you know what? They're so good right now. Everybody needs to be talking about them. Shout out to Libero, shout out to Sabiobi, and shout out to what's his name? I don't know why I just forgot his name. I know he's a classic. He's a legend. Pine. Shout out to Pine. Gotcha, Pine. Okay. Now the big topic of discussion right now in the Overwatch League is mental health. Now, me personally, I have dealt with it on many different levels with family, friends, and personal loved ones. Effect went on Twitter and he said he thought his life was ended or whatever. He said he said a very negative comment about himself and basically said, my life is over, I'm failing. It was a very negative comment, and it's a shame, For those of you who listen to my music, you'll know that in one of my songs, Skrull, where it's an ode to Marty Skrull at one point, I also mentioned Effect, and so I was a fan of Effect, and I'm not a fan of the New York Excelsior. I'm sorry, the Dallas Fuel. I'm not a Dallas Fuel fan because of the fact that they're mismanaging their entire team, and they were the only team in the entire league to come in with a sponsor, which is Jack in the Box, the only team. And we thought that maybe they were going to end up being, something big, but they're not. No, they had a really good roster, but they've just I don't get it. Taimu, Siegel, it looked good on paper. But unfortunately, the biggest thing that everyone's talking about was XQC's excommunication from the league and ban and barring from the entire play, pretty much. And now he just streams on his own, but he's got his rabid legion of fans, so he's fine. But I'm worried about Effect, but I'm more worried about everyone. Because, like I said on Twitter, for those of you who follow me, at One Charming Man, you'll know that when it comes down to it, Overwatch is so new, okay? The impact of it is still being felt to this day as a game that's just still shifting the overall quality of, first-person shooters and multiplayers. That's like a huge thing that Overwatch is doing. And that's on the video game level. If this game is changing things on a video game level, then it must be very important. But what is it doing to the public? Well, I'll tell you what it's doing to the public. It's shifting everything. Because Overwatch is not like Call of Duty. It's not like Halo. It's not like one of those things where it has a stigma around it. Overwatch is different because it rewards people that are of different backgrounds and colors, cultures, whatever you want to call it. Everyone in Overwatch has their place, and it promotes unity through basically variety and uniqueness. So that's something that it promotes on a cultural level that cannot be denied. But in my opinion, that's what makes it the best game probably ever made, in my opinion. And now I will say that because it's just so fluid. Overwatch is so awesome. And on top of this, the story, while it's kind of basic, while it's kind of like, you know, cliche, it still has its like little twists and turns and lore moments where it's so in depth and really fleshes out all these characters really well. So, oh, you know, props to Blizzard for doing that. I don't think they get enough credit for that. We always talk about the game quality, but we never talk about just how deep they go with the stories and the characters. Everybody gives a shit, for the most part, about every character. You know, there's no character that nobody cares about. You know, as far as I know, every character has fans, and every fan has haters, and that's what makes them really interesting characters, is that you can get behind them as personalities, and that's something that's very important. And that is like what I think we're starting to see, is because there's so many people from so many backgrounds. It's daunting. It's daunting, and you know, it's daunting to the characters in Overwatch, and it's kind of funny to see it be so daunting in real life, because you know that it's just a game, but it's just because it's such a good game, it's like different. Oh my god. It's such a good game that it's like shifting the way people look at video games. And it's, while I know that there are other esports leagues, to me Overwatch League is the only one that has done it like the NBA, like the NFL. Like they're the only ones that are bringing the really good presentation that is present in the actual sports world. And it's, to me, it's garnering the respect of the community, the sports community, that is. And I think that it's really cool that I get fucking notifications on my phone for ESPN notifications that are saying, you know, oh, effect leaving the Dallas Fuel, you know, whatever. And they're really cool. It's really cool, and I'm really happy. It makes me so happy to know that, you know, basically a game is this popular, because I love video games as a whole. So it's like, it makes me really happy to know that people are appreciating this game this much, and knowing, giving the respect to it, because there's such a, it's like chess being a part of the Olympics in the 1980s. You know, it's like Bobby Fish, man. Wait, Bobby Fish, wasn't he the, Bobby Fish is a wrestler. What am I thinking of? Tobey Maguire, he played him in a movie. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna fucking have an aneurysm if I can't remember. Basically, it's such a good game, and it takes a lot to be good at it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it takes a lot. You have to really understand blocking, and you know, you have to understand the power of team coordination. And it takes so much, you know, there's an emphasis on in-depth knowledge. There's an emphasis on being able to use your in-depth knowledge and intimate skills of the game to basically be able to, you know, prosper. And that's something that I definitely think that Overwatch deserves. And let me tell you right now, when it comes down to mental health, the reason why it's so, I think it's so mismanaged, is because if you look at NBA, if you look at the NFL, if you look at MLB, if you look at any other sports organization that has this much exposure, this much pressure, then you will see there are jaded veterans and thousands of people that are ready to support all these people. With the Overwatch League, it's brand spanking new. There are no Overwatch League veterans. There are no Overwatch League, you know, like super fans. I mean, I know there's the Twitter standum, but I'm talking about like what we have, like people tattooing like Lakers right here, fool. Like, we don't have any of that for Overwatch League, not yet, and we might never want to get that deep. Unfortunately, we might, but what I'm getting at is the impact of video games is still unknown on a local and global level, unfortunately. So a lot of people still look at games and they're still like, oh, like, they make you violent. No, you're a weirdo if you like video games. There are people like this that still exist to this day. And it's funny to me because, like, literally, there are people making thousands and thousands of dollars on video games. No, I'm sorry, millions of dollars. And instead of them getting the credit that they deserve for making artistic pieces of true originality, instead of getting the credit they are getting for shifting arts into a new era, Instead of getting this, they're getting basically scorned and used as a scapegoat for a multitude of social issues that have existed since the dawn of mankind. So, to me, I'm not gonna go ahead and say that video games make you violent. I'm not gonna say that video games are a mental health, detractor or something. What I am gonna say is that we need a support group for the Overwatch League players. I think we do need a players union more than anything. For first and foremost, we need a players union. Now, I might get in trouble with Overwatch League people for this. I'm not sure. I don't know. I still don't know how this stuff works. So, for those of you who are Overwatch League officials, for those of you who are in the know, Overwatch League players watching this video, if you guys are watching this, and I say something I'm not supposed to be saying, you let me know. You comment down below, or you message me on Twitter. You tell me, hey man, you gotta stop. I pressed ultimate on accident, but I'm still gonna get that kill right now. Now, I think the players need to unionize, and I think they need to talk to each other and become even closer friends than they are right now. Because I know a lot of these fools are from fucking, Sweden, and Japan, and Korea, and America, and Spain, and all, wherever the hell these guys are from. China, they're from so many different places. You guys need to get together, and you guys need to go have some pizza or something. Because, you guys need to team up and come together as a unit and argue some stuff with Overwatch, man. You guys are the lifeline. You guys are the all-stars. You guys are the LeBron James, the Chris Pauls. The NBA is nothing without you. The Overwatch League is nothing without you. I meant to say that the Overwatch League, the NBA is nothing without them, and the Overwatch League is nothing without you guys. Okay, so you guys need to unionize and come together, because I don't think that this is fair that XQC gets banned for something like this. I don't think it's fair that people are getting have to apologize for doing stuff like teabagging. It's like this is BS, man. And it's like, you know what happens when the players don't unionize early on, and you know what happens when they end up having to basically have this running issue where they can't fight for themselves as a cohesive unit. You know what happens? Then the NFL type things happen, and people like Colin Kaepernick will get their voice shut down because there's nobody in the league that has the balls to try and help them. Once you start having a stigma around the league like this, then you're going to have people in control. And at the beginning of the Overwatch League, it was so brand new. We didn't know if anybody was going to be having problems. We didn't know if there was going to be any issues, really. And you know what? We're starting to see that there is. And the main issue is just that, a lot of these players are under a lot of pressure, and they're forced to do a lot. And the thing is that on top of this, the Overwatch League holds exceptionally ridiculously high standards for basically censoring people. And if you look at the handbook that leaked, literally almost everything will get you in trouble. Like, I'm seeing these guys, and it's like, oh, hey, man, I need to use your account for a second, I need a, this game is gonna end. I might as well, my whole team left. Well, you might as well just end the game right now. Like, give me the win. Oh, well, you're gonna get suspended, and you have to apologize for it. It's like, do you have any idea how ridiculous this is? These guys are the reason why people are paying money to go see them. People are buying jerseys. It's because of these guys, man. I understand that the way it works is like, a league, has to put precedent over the players so that they understand that, without the league there are no players. I understand that. But it's a two-way road, man. And if this keeps happening, then the player morale will go down. Play will go down. Quality play, will go down. Sales will go down. Interest will go down. And something that could have been amazing will go down. So, I know I might be sounding like a harbinger of doom that's just like overreacting and everything, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give a breakdown to what's going on. In my opinion, the players need to come together and unionize, and maybe make a little bit more of an attempt to reach out to each other and basically and reassure each other, that you guys are. It's just a game, bro. It's just a game, bro. It's only a game. Why are you mad? Anyways, that's my really from the outside rant. I'm usually a guy who's like, hey, calm down, man. So I'm just saying from my perspective, it's not exactly. My final closing statement will be this: the Overwatch League Stage 4 will be very exciting to watch because of Briette's impact on the game and just exactly where her place is going to be in the meta will be riveting television on Twitch. Absolutely. But there is an underlying negativity. There's an underlying sense of negativity because of the fact that there is a very bad taste left in everybody's mouth due to the Dallas Fuel situation. Personally, I don't think that it will affect it too much. But I do think that if something doesn't change soon, then we will have some real problems on our hands. That'll be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. This is One Charming Man, as always, representing the monarchy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, or if you don't like this video, let me know below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at One Charming Man. And have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next broadcast. Justice.